I'll give some introductions here. I'm Peter, I'm the owner of AdvanTech Manufacturing. This is Aaron, the general manager. We don't shake hands, go around. Cody runs the GT lathes and runs a bunch of other things. Ethan's head of quality. Sherry and Sarah do deburr, inspection, shipping, and wear a bunch of different hats.
Excellent. Well, welcome. I'm Ryan. I'm a painter here and lead maniac.
A painter, you said?
Painter. Yeah. Finisher.
I'm Matt. I take care of when the orders come in, just assembling them, lasering them when they're painted, and reassembling them and getting them shipped out, along with many other things, all around shop guys sort of thing.
We all wear hats.
Yes.
I'm Bob, prep and blasting, so we kind of blast all the original paint off and prep all the parts for Ryan going to paint. So,
Mary, you like a little cream or a lot of cream?
Like just two.
Go ahead, go first.
So I'm Gilbert. I work in the prep department with blasting and other stuff.
Hold up, we're gonna get to all this.
We just did it.
Is that all right?
We just did introductions, kind of what our titles are.
All right, so guys, just go back a little further, wrap a little bit more. Use up the whole room. All right, one more side here. All right, so welcome, guys. Appreciate you coming. This is gonna be as good for us as it is for you guys, right? I hope. All right, so, yeah, you guys have all done this already?
Yeah.
All right.
Except for you, Dave.
I'm Dave. I'm the lead janitor, that's my role here. All right, so, what we're gonna do is about 30 minutes in here and then 30, 45 out on the floor, okay? So, I mean, just a prerequisite, we've been doing this for 5.5 years. And not only are we doing it here, it's become a radical obsession of mine. So I eat, sleep, breathe, drink this stuff. So in an hour, in 15 minutes, we're going to be on page 1 of chapter 1. We're not going to get too far. Okay, there's a lot here now. So our objective today, it's pretty straightforward, to introduce you to lean and most importantly, 2-second lean. And we'll talk about the details of that. So hopefully, when everybody leaves today, including my guys and myself, everybody's a little bit inspired. Paul Akers taught me this on a Japan study mission about being positive, don't be critical. And we could go into real depth on this, but we are not a perfect company. There's a lot of stuff out here that we're doing great. There's a lot of stuff we're not doing great. In life, if you zero in on picking apart the negative, you'll miss all the positive. So my suggestion is that when you observe, when you listen, and you look at things, always try to find the good, look for the positive. Don't focus on the things that aren't right, because there's a whole bunch. Okay. So what is lean? Well, the textbook definition is the elimination of waste through daily continuous improvement. Far, far, far deeper than that, and we'll get into all that. Okay, lean is not about perfection. We are not perfect here. Again, 5.5 years. We're on chapter maybe 2, page 4. We got a long way to go. There's areas of this place that I would say are near perfect. There's a whole bunch of spots that aren't. Okay.
How many chapters are there?
I think I list them out here. What lean is about is operational excellence. It's striving for operational excellence in everything you do. So for me and for us, it all started here with Paul Akers. So I mentioned you guys, been in business 27 years, 22 years I ran the company wrong. I was very frustrated. I had a really, really awesome employee, Randy, who you know. Very, very talented, but just couldn't keep the guy focused at all. And did a lot of stuff, on company time, which is really customer time, that he shouldn't have been doing. And frankly, as a leader, I tolerated it. And because of that, our organization suffered. And Ryan was here through some of that. And you know some of the things that happen that, you know, were not good for our culture. And before Lean, I spent a year and a half trying to figure out a way to change behavior, mostly in Randy, and I struggled, I couldn't do it. And again, he was a rock star, he was very, very good at what he does, but being good at what you do and being good for the team are two different things. So I went on a search, and there's gotta be something better, and I found Paul Akers, I found Lean Manufacturing, and what I learned in finding is it wasn't about one individual, it was about the lack of culture that we had in the company that I didn't create or allowed to get created. And, you know, it was frustrating being here. And Ryan actually worked here for a year before we started this, and he actually left because he didn't like it. And then
The week up,
the week we rolled this out. Yep. Yep, and then he came back a week later, and, you know, it's a whole different world, right? Yeah. So I found some videos of Paul, and Paul wrote a book, 2 Second Lean. This was his first book. This was his last book. I think book 6. The ones in the middle were about health, travel, lean life, things like that. That book is done very, very well. Banish Sloppiness is also very dear to my heart. Well, I started watching videos. I hadn't even read the book yet. I started watching, Paul's got a bazillion videos. I started watching all kinds of videos from him, other people, put together a presentation, rolled it out on April Fool's. It was not an April Fool's joke. And we went at it, and we just kept pounding and doing different stuff, and changing it up, and doing what works for us, and just making things better and better and better. And, you know, one thing I should say, every business is radically different. And just because we do something a certain way doesn't mean that you won't, doesn't mean that other companies won't. You know, we ourselves get inspired by watching other people, and we pull little pieces from them that fit our business, and the ones that don't and don't work for how we want to do things, we don't. You know, so you can kind of pick and choose a little bit within some of the fundamentals. Right? So I got to know Paul very, very well, and Paul does Japan study missions, and I think within 6 months of knowing him, I was in Japan with him doing a study mission, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Got to see Toyota, Lexus, a lot of other small Japanese companies, and the Japanese culture is remarkable. It's remarkable in a lot of ways. First of all, Japan was a vicious country, you know, in the history of Japan. And after we blew the hell out of them, and we actually helped rebuild Japan, and they learned a lot from America. The big difference with the Japanese is they continually improve and they sustain it, where our culture kind of has gone a little bit, you know, unwound, so to speak. So that's how these people are wired.
I'm correct to say is we basically told them what to do, and they did it, and we didn't.
Correct. That's very correct, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yes, the Japanese are marvelous at copying stuff, but they copy it, they just make it better and better and better. So that was a fantastic experience, and one I would never forget. So Kaizen is a term that means change good. So change for the better, and also somewhat do that daily. And that's what the Japanese do. They practice Kaizen. So when they get up every day in the morning, they improve something, and they do it every single day, over and over. So it's another form of continuous improvement. So everything in life that we do is a process. When you get up in the morning, you put your clothes on, you take a shower, how you brush your teeth, everything is a process. And every process, everything that you do can be improved. So Ryan, why would we want to improve things? Well, in life, not business, just in life.
I was gonna say on a personal level, if I improve the way I do things at home that are not adding value to my family time, being able to do the dishes quicker, or being able to put them away quicker, or even getting dressed in the morning, like Dave said, those are all processes, and then I have more time to do other things, like enjoy my life. So
Right.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, what is the one thing all humans have in common? Is it coding?
Yep.
What do you think of it? I mean, there's many, but
One thing that we all have in common, we all get stressed.
okay. Anything else? Bob, do you know, are you one might not know the answer to this, but I was pretty new, about 6 weeks.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you're ugly, pretty, tall, skinny, fat, you know, there's one thing that we've got that's a constant.
Thinking, brain,
Yeah.
right?
Okay? Everybody's probably not gonna know where I'm going with this, but food. 24 hours.
Yes.
We all have 24 hours in a day. So, Tara, if I may ask, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What makes you, what's enjoyable to you?
Right?
Right?
My dog or.
Right. So if you develop processes in your life at your house to do chores.
Actually, that's another hobby though, that I'd like to do. I like to, like, vacuum, that's like.
I got the keys to my house and the address.
I know it sounds crazy, but I do it every day, so.
Okay, so, but I'm gonna guess that there's things in your life that you don't like to do that you have to do, right?
Yeah.
All right, so if you had a way to do those things more effective, where you could reduce the amount of time it takes for those unenjoyable chores, then that would give you more time to do the enjoyable chores or hike or have time with your kids, right?
Grocery shopping, I hate grocery shopping.
There you go.
But I know there's ways that I can improve that.
There you go.
I know there are.
Right. So I'm gonna digress a little bit. We spend 30 minutes a day in this room in the morning having a meeting to learn about these concepts. And Ryan, what did I bring up the other day with Paul's video about the 62 Japan study mission?
Well, it basically, I'll sum it up. You can read all the books in the world on how to improve yourself, but if you don't actually apply them and practice them on a daily basis, then it's for nothing.
For nothing, right? So it's action that makes change. And yes, you need knowledge, but you need to then say, okay, I'm going to do it. I mean, I could read a bunch of diet books and still eat, 5 pieces a day, and I'm probably not going to lose any weight, right? So you have to actually do it. You have to take action. So this is what it's all about, is just making the things maybe in life that we don't love so much more enjoyable, to have more time to do what we want to do. So we practice Kaizen to remove waste, and there's a lot of waste. I would say 80 to 90% of everything everybody in this room does is waste, and it's hard to get your head around it, but it's true. Okay? Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't have that high percentage, but I would say a good 50, 60.
So-
I'm not gonna debate.
This wasn't part of my presentation, but this is a good example, because you guys are machining, and we machine too. So in Lean, there's a term called a value stream. And a value stream is basically, what is the process from start to finish? And let's just say, for conversation, I'm gonna machine this widget in the machine. As machining people, hypothetically, let's say it's 15 minutes of cutting time in the mill to make this part. As manufacturing people, machining people, we all go hardcore of how can we take that robot out there and take the 15 minutes and get it down to 14 minutes? Well, we shave the minute off. But we think we did good. Well, I got news for you. In the value stream, start to finish of the whole process, the machining of this piece is one little sliver. So when let's say we take the 15 minutes down to cut it in half, 7 minutes. We only shrink the value stream by a couple percent. So instead of focusing on activities like that, what we do is we work on all the things in the value stream that aren't valuable. Cutting the part is value, because you're changing something. You're taking metal, you're transforming it, that's value. Walking to the machine to load it, going over here to get your material, going over here to pack it, that's all non-value. You haven't changed anything. You haven't actually cut any metal. All the waste lies in the non-value. So when you work to strip away the value, then you actually reduce the whole time of the value stream. Does that make sense? So as by nature, we all tend to look to better and improve things in the wrong spots.
Not to mention, cutting the cycle time may take quite an effort to cut the cycle time down by a minute.
Mm-hmm. That's correct, yep. I told you guys at lunch the other day the label story, and I'll try to sum it up here. We rack parts on little fixtures, and we paint a lot of parts. And we have to keep our jobs separate, so we would put a label on the fixture stand. print the label, you have to apply the label. You couldn't tell one job from another unless you peeled the label and you read it, okay? And we've been doing this for years, and at one point, the printer was 25 feet away from where Ryan would rack parts. So you'd have to walk over, print 50, so he would print more labels than he needed, waste, because he didn't want to walk back over. So he prints this whole roll of labels, brings them over by where he's racking parts, rack them up, roll these labels out, okay? So the first thing we did is we put a computer right by where he paints. Good stuff. Then one day we're thinking about this, man, we had to always also peel these labels off when we were done. And peeling them off was a real pain in the ass, off all these little round sticks. So we're talking one day, we're like, man, this is like pain in the ass, this project. We're fixing what was, this is annoying. Every morning we gotta spend like an hour unpeeling all these labels off all these fixture sticks. And there's glue on them, and this is a pain in the ass, right? So we're talking about it, we're like, well, maybe we could put one label on each fixture block that holds 6 or 7 fixtures. Okay, so now we can shorten it up a little bit. And then we're like, well, peeling it off the block is gonna be a problem. Well, hey, wait, let's get some magnets. Let's put the label on the magnet. Okay, great. And then I said, well, when we print the labels, we gotta peel them off the backing. That's a pain in the neck. So I go out and I buy a $400 printer that'll peel and present the label, so it strips it from the backing and you can peel it off. Okay, that's great. We never even hooked the printer up. It's in the bottom of the drawer right now. We kept drilling down. Why are we doing this? Why are we, and this is Ryan and I going back and forth. Why are we doing this? Why are we eliminated the labels. We have colored magnets. We color the jobs. No more labels, no more printing, no more putting them on, no more removing them. So, and now, guess what? Ryan gets a whole lot more work done each day.
Sure do.
The point is, we probably took away 2 hours a day of nonsense. So, I didn't figure out a way to make Ryan paint better, okay? Just like the machining process. We didn't reduce the value. When he sprays, that's all value. We didn't cut any of that down. We just cut away so much non-value around what he's doing. Now he's got more time for
Cut the frustration out.
cut the frustration out. That's right. That's right. So now, I mean, like, work got a little enjoyable when you didn't have to put those labels on, right?
And you made it almost error-proof too, because you can read that label wrong, we were going by his job number, you get distracted, somebody
That's right.
knocks it, so it made it pretty much completely error-proof as well.
Right, so now when we've got jobs, we make our parts. We have these parts in the oven, you open up the oven, you see red and green, you know, oh, you know what parts go where. It's clear as day, and it's also clear as day that there's 2 jobs in there, not maybe 3. Before you open up, it's a sea of labels, without reading the numbers, you have no idea. So it got visual, and it got real easy. So that's some of the examples.
And not to mention, that is gonna be applied across any part that you're racking or painting that way, where a CNC program, you're limited to that one part.
Sure, that's right. Yeah,
The gains we realize.
that's right, we changed the process for the entire department, not just one department. That's a really good point. Yeah, really good point. Okay, so all this is from Toyota. So Toyota's big base is continuous improvement and just in time. So, back when Toyota started, Ford Motor Company was the powerhouse. And Henry Ford, they had a lot of resources. They had a lot of money, they had a lot of employees, they had a lot of space. So Henry Ford, they used to make a bazillion of stuff, and they would, store it all in a warehouse. Well, to make a bazillion, you gotta have money. You gotta buy raw material, you gotta pay the employees, you gotta buy the machinery. Toyota didn't have those resources, they didn't have the money, so they had to get real creative. And, there's a saying, money suffocates creativity. If I give you $100, Ryan, for next week, I say, I want you to buy groceries, you weigh them $100, you're gonna get real creative on how to do it. But if you don't have a budget, this looks good, you're gonna be buying a bunch of stuff you don't need or don't want, or is unhealthy or whatever, right? So Toyota didn't have the money, they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the warehouses, so they had to develop systems to be just in time and do things more effective. And they don't make what a customer doesn't need, they make just what is needed when it's needed. Okay, so they're the founders of this whole, concept. That's why it's called the Toyota production system. So in the Toyota production system, there's what they call 2 pillars. Let me try my new fancy tool. 2 pillars, continuous improvement and respect for people. Those are what is considered to be the pillars that hold other items down below. We'll probably skip that for today. So every day it's about continuous improvement and respect for people. Now, respect for people or respect is often a little bit misunderstood. And let me just make up an example. So I think in the United States culture, we think of respect as giving everybody a pass for everything and not holding people accountable. So if Gilbert started coming in 3 days a week, tardy, and I said, don't worry about it, no problem. One might say I'm being respectful to him. Brian, would you think I would be? No. Okay. Why not?
Well, first of all, you're basically giving them a hall pass to continue to do it, and because we know that we're working for our customers, and it's not fair to the customer, because they're paying for that, basically.
Right. Matt, what would you say about that?
You're certainly not helping him out at all by letting him continue that behavior.
Right.
And how would you be respectful to him if you're letting him behave badly?
Right. Gilbert, what do you think?
If you give me the task complete every day, so I don't respect my team.
Right. There you go.
They come in,
Go ahead.
they come in, on time and I'm coming late, so that's not making sense, so.
That's right. So, respect in Toyota's viewpoint is holding people accountable and challenging people. The one thing that Toyota doesn't do, their leaders, they don't fix any problems. So if Matt is working on a process here and he's struggling, I don't say, oh, don't worry about it, Matt. I'll take it and I'll do it for you. How did I help him if I did that? How did I respect him if I did that? I didn't. So conversely, I shoulder to shoulder, side to side, I work with Matt and I train him to learn to do that process. In a sense, I help develop him. And when we were done, I walk away and he's now capable of doing something that he wasn't prior. That's what Toyota means when they say respect for people. Does everybody understand that? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Cody, you got it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
interject really quick. It's just like parenting, you know, if I make the bed for my 4-year-old every day, he's gonna expect me to do that all the time, and how am I doing him any good when he goes to college or has a relationship or shares a apartment with somebody? He doesn't have that respect of taking care of things, you know, might clean up for him. It's the same idea. They're not benefiting from it.
So, you know, why would anybody think that I'm bringing this up? Why would I be talking about respect for people in this presentation today? Peter?
The whole key to everything.
The whole key to everything. Nothing that we're doing here will work without that foundation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if I don't respect Ryan, he's not gonna respect me, Bob, we're not gonna work together as a team if we don't respect each other. So the foundation for us is respect. That's why you'll see when we walk through here, our coffee area is pristine, our toilets are pristine, our break room is pristine. Those were model areas for what we do throughout the rest of the facility. We have a mindset that when we finish an operation, we want the next person to look good. So it behooves us to present the parts just how they need them. We actually do that here, to make sure that we give them a defect-free part so that they can take it and do their operation. That's shown, if I'm in prepping a part for Ryan to paint, I'm respecting Ryan by giving him a part just the way he needs it, prepped just the way he needs it, so he can do his job without having to go backwards. And then he wants Matt to look good, laser, so he makes sure he gives him a part that doesn't have any dust in it, it's proper amounts of paint, so that it burns right and all that stuff, right? And that's the foundation. So if you don't respect one another, you can't build operational excellence. And that's the goal. So Taiichi Ono is considered to be the founder of lean manufacturing. He was tasked with basically developing the Toyota production systems. And he's got 10 precepts. We won't go into it unless you want to read them real quick. Do you think you remember?
I could, if you want me to.
Go ahead, try it.
Hang on a second.
He didn't know I was putting him
No,
on the spot.
I can't. You put me on the spot.
You are a cost.
Oh, yeah, you are taught first reduce waste. First day I can do it and try before everything. The workplace of the teacher, you can find answers only in the workplace. Do anything immediately. Once you start something, do not give up.
Once you start something, persevere with it.
Persevere with it. I screwed that one up. Explain difficult things in an easy to understand manner. Repeat things that are easy to understand. Waste is hidden, do not hide it, make problems visible. Valueless motion is equal to shortening one's life. Re-improve what has been improved for further improvement. And wisdom is given equally to everyone. The point is whether one can exercise it.
Very good.
I screwed up 4 and 5.
All right, so,
Could I comment on one thing?
Yeah.
I think it's very good how you folks are communicating to us, okay? And I think one single takeaway that we should get from this is, they're not afraid to say anything, okay? And they're being listened to. And the man side by side, I gotta improve on that. And from the shop side, everyone needs to improve on that. As far as letting your guard down and communicating, being open, and that's what you guys are, which is, that's part of the culture, right?
part of the culture. So, yeah, and.
Publicly speaking,
Oh, yeah.
like public speaking, I don't know how you guys were before you came here. You were all speaking very well, and, some people aren't comfortable with that, but if you're comfortable enough with the people you're with, it's not hard.
It's why, part of one of the reasons we do the meetings. You know, I want to be clear on something too. I empower everyone here to tell me when I make a mistake, 100%. If I don't clean up the table, if I leave the bathroom sloppy, they have every right, and they do, to come to me and say, Dave, you left it sloppy. There's one condition of that. It's very important. The condition is they do it with an open heart, not with a trying to get even, poke you, prod you, vindictive attitude. That we don't tolerate here. But if you're doing it because we want everybody, all boats in the harbor rise together, and we're doing it to better one each other and keep a rope tight here, and it's without malice, you can tell me anything, anytime, and they do. This week, Monday, Brian, tell everybody what you did this Monday. You called us on the walkie, and what you said, what?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So I went to use the restroom, and the restroom was a mess, and not just in one area. There was quite a few things that went wrong, and we were on a little break, and first thing I'm thinking is, well, we're getting a little loose here. So I got on the walkie and I called everybody to the bathroom, not to put them down, but to show them the mess that I found, and that we need to hold rope tight and take care of things when we leave the bathroom. And then I said, I'll clean it up, but I just wanted you all to know.
Right.
So
Raise awareness.
yeah.
Right.
So as adults, we're all accountable for everything we do.
That's right.
When you said you were walking, you know, had one.
Be able to watch it.
Yep, we all have walkies.
Okay. All right, so in the toilet production system, there's 8 identified waste. I told you guys the other day, but Cody, you weren't part of it. The way these are written is a little different, but basically first you start with overproduction. When you make too much of something, then what you have to do is you have to transport it. Okay, so now you got to load it on a cart, there's a big pile, and now you got to do something. You got to put it in inventory. So you put it in inventory. One of the dangers is there's a good chance that you have a defect in all that overproduction. So now you find a defect. Now you got to go through and you got to sort through everything. That's overprocessing. Okay. Then you've got wasted motion while you're doing it. Maybe now you got to take the parts over to the belt sander and put a chamfer on or clean something up, deeper or whatever. Okay. And then you have the customer waiting. And the last thing is, while you're doing all this nonsense, you're not actually adding value or you're wasting your potential to do great things. So these are being wasted. You know, we kind of joke about this too, and you guys have probably heard somebody say this, but in our culture, we seemingly have all the time in the world to do a job 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We never have enough time to do it right the first time. Right. You know,
Old true saying.
yeah. So, you know, what Toyota also preaches is, you again, I'm going a little off this, but I talked about value, no value. You only have value when you change something. So if you're gonna make a cup of coffee, the only time you have value is when the coffee is coming out of the machine into the cup, or you're gonna add sugar, or you're gonna add cream because you're changing it. Getting the cup, getting the coffee, getting the water, none of that adds any value, okay, so that's non-value. So, we go through life where, like, for example, let's say you have a half-hour lunch break and you go order a sub at Subway. You don't want to wait for them to walk around and get the stuff because you're waiting. That's a waste. You're a customer. You're waiting. You want them to be effective. And Subway's pretty good actually. So they're actually called them kind of a lean company because they generally have everything right there. But if they have a defect and they make it wrong, you drive away, you get back to the shop, now you get the wrong sub, now you're gonna go back. How many of us have to do that, right? So here's a little bit of a before and after our 2-second lean journey. And these are old photos. So on the left is a before assembly area. On the right is an after. Anybody notice any contrast?
Where everything is on the right.
That's for sure. Ethan, where do you want to work? What side? Right. And that's still reasonably representative of what we have today, but that's changed quite a bit.
Oh, that's better.
It is, yeah. Here's our paint department before on the left and on the right. It doesn't look anything like it does on the right anymore. And that, by the way, everything you see here on the right, I didn't do one thing of that. Zero. Ryan did it. I did zero. Nothing. I gave him the time, I gave him the support, and backed him up. I didn't do anything. So, I'll back up to that in a second. The important thing here is, I can't run around fixing all Ryan's problems, fixing all Matt's problems, fixing all the Gilbert's problems, fixing all Bob's problems. I can't run around doing their activity. And I don't prep parts. Gilbert and Bob do. I don't know the challenges they struggle with every day. That's actually a term Genchi and Boots go to the shop floor, go to the camera and see. So I don't know their struggles. So if I go out there and I rearrange his workstation for him, what do you think the outcome is going to be? If I rearrange Gilbert's workstation when I don't do his job, what do you think the outcome is going to be?
He's not gonna know where anything is, might take him longer to.
Right. Right, and I'm gonna piss him off, and I'm gonna undo productivity because I'm doing something that I don't know what I'm doing. So what do you think Peter, what do you think I do here instead?
Right, so $5 trillion.
Right.
No. But you, like you said, the opportunity and the ability to make those changes.
Right.
If you could also touch on, as we had this conversation today as a group,
Yeah.
the having an outside person observing what someone's doing, or having someone completely unfamiliar with the process, what you did to us the other day.
Yep.
The value of that.
Yeah, so.
They have to make the change,
Correct.
but the input from.
Right, so what Taiichi Ohno used to do is it's called Ohno circle. He would draw a 3-foot circle on the shop, and he would take a team lead and say, stand in that circle, and he would disappear. He'd say, observe. And when I say he disappeared, he'd go away for 4 hours. And he'd come back and he'd say, what did you see? And that person's job was to stand there and just watch people work. And what happens is, human nature, when we do things that we're so accustomed to, we have blinders on. We can't see why we're doing them, how we're doing them. And so what an outside person looking can see, oh, you're traveling over here, like the other day, I didn't know your guys' process at all, but watching a little bit, I could see a lot of walking. I learned how to identify waste, so I can see these things, and I can put it out. I couldn't do that process, I don't know all the details of it, but I just saw where the waste was, going to get a bag, going to do this, right? And that's a powerful tool, and we do that here on each other. Ryan was coming up with an improvement a few weeks ago, and I just challenged him. I said, why are you doing this like this? I didn't answer him. I just pushed him to think, what's the value? Why are you doing this? What are we going to gain? And then he, you know, he pushed back on it, and then he kind of questioned himself, but then he thought more about how to improve what he was doing. So he had a good idea, he wasn't maybe executing it as good as he could. I pushed with questions, and then he thought more, oh yeah, you're right, and then he made some changes to it, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you do things out there, like, to make changes to areas, do you, like, go over to an area and say, this is gonna change, and you need to think of ways to change it, or do you say, ask people in your area, do you think there's, like, yesterday, how you asked me, what could be better in this area?
So
And then challenge them to find things wrong.
the second way, mostly, the second way, okay? You two guys are both doing the same job, right, the bird job. So ironically, you know, Gilbert and Bob do the same job. And we're gonna show you this when we go out on the floor. We have two prep stations. We've had two prep stations for years. It wasn't these two guys, right, after he was here and other people. And both stations look like an alligator and a banana. That's how different they were. And so the one thing that came from me was they were a disaster. What happened, I do prep a little. I work out there just to help guys. So I do use the stations. And I was like out there, I'm getting aggravated by no end. Because one day somebody wasn't in, I'm at the one station, next day I'm at the other. That's completely, utterly different, and I don't know where nothing is, right? And I was annoyed. So I said, okay, we're gonna redo these stations. So that was on me, we're gonna redo them. And I created the general layout, but then I turned it over to these guys. But the one thing that we did is, they are identical. So Gilbert, you made improvements recently, and what do? When you make an improvement on one station, what do?
Do it in the other ones.
Do the other. But also, what's the other rule we have about that? What's the other rule we have about when you're gonna make that improvement? He's a little English challenged. No, so we don't make an improvement without a buy-in from both people. So we get both people together and say, you know, do you agree on this? And another thing we don't do is, we don't undo something that somebody else did without talking to them first. So if you were to put a tool here, I wouldn't come in the next day and go, I don't like it there, I'm gonna move it over there. I would talk to you first and say, you know, I noticed that maybe it would be a little bit better over here. What do you think about that? Can we try that? And you would say, well, no, I did try it and it didn't work over it. You know, so we'd have an open dialogue. We wouldn't just do it and undo it, because that would be disrespectful to you, right?
Part of your question too, if I can interject, is, any changes that we make really don't happen out here. It's in this morning meeting where we recognize and raise awareness to things that need changing and improvement.
Right. Okay, so, yes, sir.
You get, I'm used to it as an example. You got one way you wanna do it, you got another way to do it, we got a tie. She wants her station this way, she wants her station that way, we're not changing her stations. But,
Different
I just bought a new machine that's identical to the machine we already have on the floor. Right, you know, we have right now 2 guys. Neither machine is this person's or that person's, they're going back and forth, so it's extremely critical to the same.
Right, and one, how do you settle your tie?
How do you, the two people, you have to get somebody to sell their reasons. You can't say, I want something here just cause, okay? Because I feel that it should be here. You have to give a reason for why you want it. You have to sell it in base. Why is it more effective? Why, you know, I mean, there's gotta be a reason for it. It's not just because this is where I put it, too bad you have to put it there too. That's not fair, right? Absolutely, okay?
And, you know, the training and the education we do in here helps us navigate those decisions, because we know we're cutting waste. So we're all on the same page, and that, it's not like a ego thing, well, I like to have my screwdriver here.
That's right.
It's because we recognize, oh, yeah, well, I grab with my right hand, you're right-handed, I'm right-handed, so we need it right here. You know, so
Right,
that's
so
that kind of thing.
This all goes back to respect. We have no drama here. There's none. I mean, like, I had a lot of drama for 22 years. There is no drama. I'm not stabbing Ryan behind his back. He's not doing it to me. Nobody's doing it to anybody. We all respect one another, and we work as a team. And that is the truest thing I can tell you. And
It's the culture.
that's the culture, and that's why, you know,
We're gonna strive for.
The best way always wins.
yes. So I guess, when I come up to Ryan with a suggestion on something, Ryan's not defensive to me about it because he knows I'm doing it to help him. It's not, he's not emotional about it. He's, okay, yeah, he wants to hear what I've got to say. The same thing goes the other way. I mean, that's how we get done what we get done.
It's about being humble.
100%. I'm gonna fly through a couple more of these things. I do wanna watch a short video, but, values and belief, code of conduct. So we basically have some kind of fundamental core values we live by. Our main purpose is to develop ourselves so we can serve our customers at the highest level. We always work to lift others up and not put or bring anyone down. Humility over arrogance and ego. Maintain a higher level of quality without compromise. And integrity, always doing the right thing. And I lost my train of thought a little while ago, but one of the things I was saying about Toyota is they build quality into the process. Inspection, by the way, is a non-value activity, and inspection is always waste. Even though we all do it, it's a waste. You should build quality in the process to eliminate the need to inspect. Okay? So I just want to watch this video real quick with you guys, because this is where it all started. And then we'll spend half hour more on the floor.
Well, hello everyone. It's time to take a tour of FastCap. FastCap is located in Bellingham, Washington. It's about 2 hours north of Seattle, up in a little tiny town called Ferndale, right on I-5. It's a beautiful place. It's about a 50,000 square foot facility. It's just really, really cool place to work. About 110 windows, lots of natural light everywhere coming in. We're going to take you inside. Now remember, it's simple. It's not fancy. So to get inside, just a big overview. We got 3 big-ass fans keeping everything cool and lots of natural light everywhere. When you walk in the front door, it's all stand-up. We made all the desks out of our fast pipe system. Everything's simple. Now people always say, well, do people like to stand up? We wouldn't have it any other way. Is it difficult to stand up? Sure, it takes a little time to get used to it, but we love it. Everything's on wheels. Everything's flexible, including the filing cabinet. Now this is looking from the office back into the shipping area, from the shipping area back in towards the office. You notice there's no walls. This is our order desk, and it's all on wheels, and it's all color-coded based on the day of the week. So whatever day of the week is, invoices are that color, so we can quickly tell whether or not we're behind or ahead, whether or not we have flow. When you look up on the wall, all the boxes that we ship in are all
If anybody has questions for this, feel free to ask me to stop.
color-coded. So it's easy to identify what size box is the perfect size to ship in, and then when you need to find it, it's color-coded down below as well. All LED lights, all radiant heat. It's just an incredible place to work. So this is our grocery aisle, and right here is our shipping terminal. So 90% of all of our finished products are right here. We build the Kanbans every day, and everything's clearly done through visual controls and the last 5 digits of the UPC code. So if you want to know what's there, there's a picture of it right here. And all these labels have been made by us, and it just allows us to manage our daily picking. As you can see, Thomas is down here picking an order right now on a cart that we made, and it's just very simple. This one main aisle, all the way down to the shipping terminal, and it's out the door. Our showroom, our conference room, very simple, stand up, no chairs, these don't last very long. Our graphic design area, again, everything's stand up, everything's on wheels, everything's flexible. We want to be flexible because our needs are always changing. All our tools are carefully shadowed. We never search for anything, we never struggle. Because the minute you struggle, you have waste.
Hi, I'm Graham with Welcome to Graphics. This is the most magical style in the whole building. We produce all our labels and inserts for over 700 products right here in this tiny cell. It's this big. Back here, we've got all our paper racks and the different labels we use. Over here, we've got our computer where we developed a 6-step process where anyone can come off the street, follow the very basic steps, and get the job done in 2 to 3 minutes. And then over here, whenever anybody runs out of paper, we've developed a very simple Kanban card system where anyone can understand exactly what they need to do for any product in the process. All right, so at the end of the day, we've got a great process that allows anyone to come in on their first day and a $150,000 printer for a giant company producing all the labels and inserts just out of the first day.
Our bathrooms are beautiful. Fresh flowers, granite countertops, polished concrete floors, bidet toilet seat, I mean, it's really a great place to work because we want work to be fun and enjoyable. We keep it sparkling clean every day. Callie cleans the floors with automatic floor cleaners. We have 2 of them, and everything just stays at a very high standard. This is our sandbox where we meet every morning for our morning meeting, and a new person leads it every day. Our kitchen, open to the entire facility, no wall. We even have a lean dishwasher. It does a load in just 2 minutes. No batch work. Our main production line, everything flowing towards the shipping terminal. You'll see how that works here in just a minute. Very cool. See, that's an aisle where the product is made, flows down to the area where we package it. People are in the cells, they pick, package, and ship. Everything 2 hours, backs to truck. It's pretty amazing. So this is another cell where we make the laser jam, and Austin is laying out a tape measure on an aluminum pole to make the laser leveling device. It's a nice little cell that he works around and makes one product at a time. Again, all of his tools are carefully shadowed in Kaizen foam. No struggle. Work should be easy. He goes from one cell to another cell. Notice where he grabs the safety glasses directly above the saw, goes ahead and makes a cut. And now what's really cool about this, you're going to see, is Austin's going to have to clean out the aluminum pipe. He goes, sticks in a vacuum, hits it with a foot pedal, it sucks the aluminum dust right out. It's so fast and so easy. This is an engineering cell, and also we make the best fence, and those are the engineers standing up in the production area.
I'm gonna cut it short here, just so we have more time, this is the general theme, but what do you think when you see that, Peter?
Pretty efficient. It's really efficient.
Yeah. Aaron, what's your thoughts when you see that?
Nobody's gonna be walking around looking for anything, frustrated that somebody took something to put it back or anything like that. And the comment that somebody in, Red Label's the first day of work.
Ethan, what's your takeaway from seeing that video?
See if, like, makes everyone want to keep moving forward.
Cody?
Same place, the happy place.
I mean, is anybody inspired watching that video, like I get? I saw that video 100 times, and I said.
Yeah, not having to look for stuff all the time, just having it
Right,
where it should be and always being in the same place.
right. And anybody in this room enjoy hunting for stuff and not knowing where it is? Okay? All right, so with that, we'll take a walk through this, we'll go on the floor, we'll go through here, we'll show you guys the bathroom and the conference room and stuff, all the brief